All right, and then they tell you substitute 600 for S and then write the expression for L in terms of R. So basically what they ask you to do is plug a 600 in here and then solve this for L, the length. All right, then they gave you a volume equation, asked you to convert that. I didn't ask you to use either of those. What I did ask you to do is come up with dimensions for R and L that would maximize the given volume. All right, so if we take this volume equation, and what we want to do is you want to come up with the maximum value for this. So if we go to our Y editor, we'll do this on our graphing utility. And so if we type this equation in, so 0.5 times, I'm going to change the R into an X, since my function on this is in terms of X's and Y's. Then I'm going to put my 600 minus pi x squared inside. And so here is my equation. 1/2 x times the quantity 600 minus pi x squared. And so what I want to do is I want to view this graph. Okay, now, when I look at the graph, I may have to change my viewing window. Right here, you can see I've already changed it for some other problems, but you're more likely going to see something like this. All right, so if I have my just default view settings, you don't see anything. It's not viewable. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my window settings, and I'm going to kind of zoom out of this. Okay, the x values, as I look here, it's 600 minus pi r squared. I mean, I can extend my x value. I probably don't have to extend it that far. I'll go ahead and extend it by a power of 10, so to 100. And then my y's, the same idea. My y's are probably going to be much larger on this. So if I expand it by powers of 10, I'm not going to expand it to 100. It'll probably need to be bigger than that, and probably even bigger than 1,000. So I'm going to go 10,000. But you can try either one. So if you need to, you can start at 1,000. And so it looks like I could have done it as 1,000 potentially as well. But so here is what my graph looks like. Can I see the highest point of this graph based on what I have? Yeah. So what I can do is I can now find the maximum point here. The maximum point is going to give me my optimal R value. And then it's also going to give me that maximum volume as well. So if I type in the F5 Math tab, choose my maximum, and then scroll along this graph. So here, my cursor is down here. It's below the highest point, so I can hit Enter. For my lower bound, scroll. And again, I finally get it below the upper point here to the right is my upper bound. And this is going to give me the coordinates that I'm looking for. So my coordinates of my maximum are going to be 7.978846, and then the y coordinate 1595.7691. So here are the coordinates of my relative maximum. Okay, so this value right here is going to be my R value. This value right here is going to be my volume. So that gives you two of the answers. And I think it had me, what did I have you round it to? Nearest tenth. What did it ask for the R? Okay, so 8.0. And then the V, it asks you to round to the nearest 100 or 10th. 10th also. Okay, so 1595.8. All right, so there's two of your answers. The only other thing that you need to do is find L. Well, here's when we complete this function here, we'll solve for L. So I'm going to go back to my home screen, and I'm going to enter this in. So solve 600 is equal to pi times r squared. So again, r I'm going to replace with an x. R squared plus pi times x times, and I'll go ahead and leave L there, and I'm going to solve for L. So when I do that, I get my equation. And so all I need to do with this equation then is to substitute this number in for r. And so the easiest thing to do is I can just leave that function, hit the with key, that vertical bar, and say r is equal to, again my r is x, is equal to, let me check if I plug in what that gives me was my answer, because when I did this, my value was slightly different. But it looks like they plugged in if you plug in the entire number, the actual value, which I asked you guys to do, it gets a different value than what the book posted. So I think the book posted just this, and so it gave you, here's your R value, here's your B value, your L value. It gave you 15.9 if you round it to the nearest tenth. And those would be your three answers.